As we talk live tonight, we are. See, I had this all set up, but we are having technical issues. But don't worry, I can adjust on the fly. This one, at least I can fix really quickly. But we were having some technical issues, but now we should be good. There actually, as we speak, is a live footage video of that. So if you're really inclined to see us really struggle through some technical issues, it's about 3 minutes long. But we're back with you guys. We'll push through. We'll get through this. We do have a great spread pick. At least the spread pick this week as a group did not take very long to decide. We came up with it pretty quickly to cut down on some time. Evan, Gov, how we doing?
Not bad.
Oh yeah, we're good. We're all good.
Mm-hmm.
We're as good as the Vegas Raiders against the New York Jets is going to be. Which I know that sounds like we're not great, but we're still going to be fine.
Yeah, thanks for asking how I am, Logan. That was real nice of you.
I was setting you up for the last because your mic issue. I wanted to make sure you were good to go. But how are we doing, Donnie?
I'd be better if StreamYard didn't have a bug going on right now. But, we're here. We're going to have fun.
It's fine.
Yeah, well, wouldn't it be funny if after all this, our lineup finally hits? Like, this is the lineup. The lineup builder show with all this chaos.
We're millionaires.
Hey, I guess we could then upgrade our mic equipment. So if this isn't any indication how much we need it, why don't we talk about why we like the Raiders, though? Talking about taking a gamble. Why do we take a chance on the Raiders this week over the Jets?
I'll let you take it, Gov. It was your idea.
My personal thought is like this Raiders team looks like it's going to at least play better under this new coaching staff. They're going to be as disciplined as they can be, which is all you really need to beat the Jets. The Jets make a shit ton of mistakes. At home in Vegas, I will take the Raiders at +1. Like it's a pick'em game,
mm-hmm.
And I think the Raiders can just straight up win this game, no problem.
How do we think they're gonna do it though with Aiden O'Connell at quarterback? Are they gonna let Jacobs just run all over them somehow, or?
I'm biased because
I don't think an explosion game from anyone is necessary. I think the Raiders can get like 85, 90 total yards from Jacobs. Maybe Adams breaks out a little bit with O'Connell and has another 12 target game from him. Probably only gets like 65, 70 yards. Maybe neither of them get a touchdown, but it goes to someone like crazy like Michael Mayer gets one. And Vegas wins 17-10 because the Jets suck.
Which is a real damn shame because their defense is phenomenal.
Wouldn't that be amazing? We get another one of those games as our next island game after what we saw on Thursday night.
And the Patriots,
which we all should forget forever.
Yeah, Sunday morning's going to be a stinker probably too.
Yeah, what's our good island game this week? Denver Buffalo?
Yeah. Oh God. Stop.
The Monday Night Hammer.
Hey, look, we've had a lot of matches that we thought were going to be highly explosive, highly entertaining, and they haven't been. What if it's one of these games that we don't anticipate being a good game? What if all these games end up being good? Like maybe that was part of the problem is maybe as fans, we thought we were getting good matchups because of preconceived notions. And now when our expectations are at their lowest or when we get the best collection of games.
There's nothing fun for fans when the 2-7 Patriots and the what are the Colts record? I don't know. The bum and out of just trash.
Like, why did we send Indy and New England?
Indy and New England made no sense. Like, New England kind of made sense.
That would have made sense to send that game to Frankfurt 10 years ago when it was Brady Manning. Oh, I'm sorry. 20 years ago. When it was 15, 20 years ago. When it was Brady Manning. God, I'm old.
Brady 10 years ago, yeah.
We
just hit the 10-year marker, though. of Manning being gone from the Colts. So, I'll give you that.
And I honestly think what they were hoping, well, maybe they were trying to be fair in this way, where they're like, "Hey, Jacksonville's going to go overseas. We'll pick a team in their division to go overseas, and then that way that narrative, no one can say anything. The Patriots are a traditional powerhouse franchise in terms of viewership. The whole Tom Brady narrative. You're going to get a lot of international fans that like maybe were fans because that was the game that was on. So you got the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady kind of historical, gravitas. I think they were definitely hoping for a better game. That's for sure.
They were definitely hoping for the Patriots to not suck.
But why don't we get into more of our picks? I do think the Raiders, though, of all the bad teams, have the most talent of all the like bad teams this year. So they could provide some fun
Very
games.
high end talent on a bad team. Very high end. Just that middle tier after the high end.
And they actually got rid of their coach and they were trying something new, opposed to what I think the Falcons should be doing with Arthur Smith. So like that's part of the reason I honestly like the Raiders. I honestly forget what the order was with all the technical issues, so I don't care who goes first.
Evan, me, you.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, right. I have the first pick. Did I close all my shit? I might have closed all my shit trying to make sure we fixed everything. Hold on. Let's see. So my first pick, since we took one of the good ones off the board as our pick for all of us, I'm going to filibuster and fill time and wait for my shit to load up so that I can tell you that I am going to take the Chargers plus let's see. What do you have on DK?
+3.
That's what I have here. So that's it. Yeah. I will take the Chargers +3.
I will say if the Lions lose, I do think it'll be by more than 3 points. I feel like the Lions either win games pretty handily this year or they lose pretty embarrassingly. So I think that would be the narrative of how that game would go if it would go against the Lions.
Logan, you've been a big fan of the Chargers this year, though. What are you going to do if they beat your Lions?
I won't be surprised. I think the Chargers are a good team.
I don't, but they got talent.
Yeah, they're a talented roster. That's the best I can say.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, God.
Evan, go ahead with your next.
I think they're a talented roster in a division that gets overrated by a lot of different things. I mean, this will seem like I'm taking a shot at the Chiefs, but I think everyone's expectation of the Chiefs was too high. Everyone's like downgrade of the Raiders was too low. And the Chargers, I think, funny enough, are the most consistent team, even though the memes and all the Chargers charge kind of nonsense.
Consistently bad this year? Consistently disappointing?
I'm saying we're only at the halfway point. I'm saying, what if the Chargers reel off the next 4 wins? What I'm trying to tell you is there's
doesn't change the fact that they'll miss the playoffs to me. I mean,
we'll see. I don't think they'll miss it. This would be a big win to them not missing the playoffs. To Gov's point, Gov, why else do you like them?
See, I just think I like this game to stay close and kind of be high scoring. So, like, that's my thought. I'm also, like, I like to follow the metrics and the money. And this one looks like everyone thinks Detroit can win this game. But, like, the Chargers have shown, like, to at least be competitive in their games. So, like, +3, they could lose by, like, 2 points and still be fine. Or they could just outright win this game. Like, it's not like Detroit is just guaranteed to win. I would say, I would definitely take Detroit to win myself, but I also think the Chargers keep it close, and I'll take the points.
Good point. We don't bet, on the money line. You do get to bet with the spread, so I like that narrative. Evan, do you have anything to add to that?
I don't, but I'd be happy to get into my first pick.
Perfect.
So I am going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers at -3 over the Green Bay Packers. This is a game that's being played in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers are not a great team at home, but the Green Bay Packers are also a terrible road team. And with how atrocious their defense is all around, Yeah, thank you, Donnie. I was about to write that in the chat too.
You
I
stole my pick.
Yeah, but I had to go for what was easy for me. The it, I like the Steelers' weapons, even if Kenny Pickett hasn't reached in his full potential yet. And I just don't trust anything about this Packers team. They are ass. So, enough said.
Yeah. Well, I do think though it adds a good layer to like what we're going to do pretty soon, and that's DFS lineup building and stuff like that, uh, Evan, as well, because a lot of times people will say, "Well, what's the best game?" Or if you're watching with your friends, you might mention a couple of marquee games. The truth is, if you can find value, whether you're betting, whether you're building DFS lineups, that's what you got to do. Price considered, and taking bets against the spread, and that's kind of what you did here. You're not saying either team is good. You're saying like, "Hey, I think the Steelers have a chance to be way better than the Packers." I
I
like
don't know
it.
about way better. It's just that at -3, I think that's an easy pick to make.
Sorry, yeah, I misunderstood what you meant by easy, but I guess I interjected my own thoughts. I think the Steelers are far and away better than the Packers this season.
Jordan Love, not a great decision maker as it is. Steelers, one of the best blitzing teams with one of the best pass rushers in the league. Continues to be an unsung kind of hero in that regard.
And honestly, I'm
I,
gonna
lo-
swing
I
it
love
over
the
to Gov
Steelers.
here. I Gov, tell me if I'm wrong, but that really does speak to it though. It's like sometimes we don't need to be perfect, or you don't need the game doesn't need to be good for it just to be a smart pick. This seems like a smart pick to me. Like the game could be terrible, but just a smart pick.
I agree with that. This would have been my second pick. Like this was definitely a pick I think all of us wanted. I wanted to get my Charger pick out of the way. I probably should have just like I don't care. You guys, it's fine. It's fine.
Why don't we go on to the next one, because I feel like this is another easy one, very similar situation.
Yeah, hit it up.
I'm going Saints -2.5. I know last week was like, that Cinderella story for Josh Dobbs coming in, winning that game. Oh, I don't know my teammates. But there's still no Justin Jefferson. You're playing a very good defense this week now with the Saints. There's got to be mistakes. There's not enough, correlation there, communication, whatever you want to call it. If Dobbs is out there, I think it's going to be ugly. 2.5 is not big enough. Even if Hall's out there, which I don't know his status, it's not good.
I still think the Vikings are a better team than the Saints, but not by much. This Saints team
I think the
only
Saints
beat
are
my
about to
Bears
start
by
railing off.
7.
Yeah, I think the Saints team's about to start railing off random wins here and there, and they're probably going to make it to the playoffs.
By a pure accident.
Hey, by pure division not being that great.
Yep, that's what I mean by accident.
Yeah. So, well, here's the one thing I got about this game that I find interesting. So, I mentioned before the show how Aaron Rodgers basically said that for him to come back with the Jets, they would have to be in contention, right? There would have to be a playoff like ramification. And with this game, with the Vikings, we just saw the Cinderella story. Donnie just mentioned it with Dobbs, right? They make this desperate trade, have this great story. They beat the Falcons. Now we don't know if the Falcons are any good or not. We don't even know if the Vikings are any good. There was rumors that Justin Jefferson might play. He, I guess, got some limited practice in, got some light jogging in. They were encouraged. But then he came out and said that they would have to be in contention for him to come back. That just seems like obvious, like rhetoric to me. That seems like very obvious. So, like, why do you even need to say that? I think what it does is it creates pressure and puts pressure on guys like Dobbs and guys like Wilson, and like the team is already pressured enough to win. They already are desperate enough to win. Why do you need your superstar player coming out and putting more pressure? I don't know. I don't like the Vikings. I'm with Donnie here. I think the Saints are better. I think maybe the Saints have played down to their competition a lot. Like they're getting healthier. They got Jamison Williams coming back. Like I think that's a big deal. That takes off some weight from Kamara.
Yeah, the swag Kazakage.
He's
Gosh, that was so good of him.
an interesting
Jamal's a funny
character.
guy.
Yeah, he definitely has his own way of giving off entertainment. Some of his interviews and that kind of thing is crazy. What do you guys think though? Like, because all I keep thinking about is all this pressure that the Minnesota Vikings are putting on themselves.
I don't think it's really pressure on themselves. I think, they've played. I mean, they've had a really good streak. They started off bad, but they rail off the streak and they lose their two best players. It sucks.
I just don't think Dennis Allen is a good coach, and he's holding back this Saints team. And I just said
I
earlier,
agree.
his Saints only beat my Bears by just one touchdown, which is
A win's
pretty
a win.
fucking dismal. If anybody here has watched my Bears, I think Kevin O'Connell's a better coach, and I think that's going to be the reason the Vikings beat the Saints. But we'll see.
You're not concerned about who's at quarterback. Like,
No,
I'm not saying that either of them are bad. I don't want to make it sound like that. I worry that Dobbs isn't ready against a very good defense.
I wouldn't call the Saints defense very good anymore. They're just okay.
Oh, they're very good.
They're very good.
Nah, they've been pretty disappointing this year with how much they've given up. But then again, that could be coaching. I mean, maybe I'm just being bamboozled.
I think you're being bamboozled a little bit.
Because they've been giving up at least 20 points per game for at least half their schedule.
Gov, anything you want to add on this game? Because I think the lines in the sand are drawn on this game. Now we just get to watch it do
No,
it happen.
it's a good pick. You guys are going to take all the good picks. This is going to be annoying, actually. Are we snaking? Do I get to go next? How are we doing this?
Well, wait, Logan's got a pick, right?
Right.
Needs to go.
Yeah, so we're
Oh,
usually
by the way,
snake,
another
so.
thing on the game is Hawkinson's also listed as questionable. So
He is. That foot's been bothering him for quite some time now.
It's
I
his
think
ribs.
Say what?
It's his ribs.
It's his ribs now?
yeah, this is ribs now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a bigger deal.
I just assumed it was the lingering foot issue he had a couple weeks ago. Yeah. I mean, I think that's why the Lions gave up on him early was just because of the availability, like his inconsistency, whether that was play, whether that was injury. You see, he never seemed to be able to put it together with some fluidity. So we'll see how that goes. I think one of the best ones on the board still there. I'm happy to have it. I want Tennessee plus a 2.5. I'll switch over to that game now so you guys can see it. I don't think the Bucks were meant to be good. I don't think the Bucks were ever really that great. I think Tennessee realized they weren't great with Ryan Tannehill. They said, let's see what we got in the rookie. And they might have just found some gold. I think, Tampa's still playing with fool's gold over there trying to be Pirates with Baker Mayfield. I'm not buying it. If anything, I like their defense and I like, White for what they do. But I think Baker still is a bottom tier quarterback. And maybe I would take Dobbs over him. In fact, I'll take Tennessee plus 2.5. Easy.
I think that's interesting.
I second that Dobbs thing.
The Buccaneers actually did a really good job keeping up last week with the Texans. I mean, neither were good teams, but I don't know. I don't think the Buccaneers are gonna, they're not gonna fall behind this Titans team.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what happened.
I think Levis puts extra life in this offense that we really don't know what the team is yet, and maybe they are, a 24 point per game type team now with Levis.
Here's the thing. I like Will Levis. I'm not going to lie to you guys about that. I put my money where my mouth was a couple weeks ago when he was named the starter. So you guys know as well, as I've been a fan of him. I will say this, though. The one thing he does that Ryan Tannehill don't think could do, or maybe he would think about it too much. He'd be like trying to be too fundamental. Will decides, hey, you know who the two best players on my team are? They're Derrick Henry and they're Hopkins. I'm going to force them the ball. I'm going to give them the ball. And Will Levis can throw the ball deep and he can get it out there. ahead of the defense. And so those YOLO balls mean a lot more coming from him than they do Ryan Tannehill. And that in itself has given the Tennessee more life because it gives them more explosion. I don't know if they're necessarily that much greater, but their defense has already been pretty good, and now their offense has some pop. I think that's the difference.
I don't remember how long Mike Vrabel has been the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, but I feel like that's what's been the key description of the Titans as a whole team. Nobody knows if they're good or bad because they'll show up one week and look like they forget how to play football, and then the next they look like they're championship caliber. It's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde type of thing with the Titans, and I don't know which one is going to show up against the Buccaneers, but at the same time, I don't like to count out Baker Mayfield with the weapons that he does have.
Gov, Baker used to play for your Panthers. You're obviously pretty plugged into the NFL in a very unique way because you're very analytically driven with your DFS coverage. You have any takeaways on this game? Because I just think the Buccaneers got some bad teams at some times where we didn't think they were bad, like the Vikings. Or do you actually think I'm unfair to the Buccaneers here? I just think that they're really bad.
Defensively, they're not as bad as people think. They're definitely banged up and they've gotten worse throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
But like defensively, they're still not like horrible. So like this isn't a spot where like how do I put it? Tampa still has strengths that they can play to. They still are a pass funnel because their scheme and everything, even with weakened players, will still focus on stopping the run first.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't think Tampa's as bad as everyone thinks, but they're definitely not as good as they once were.
They have a really good leader in Shaq Barrett.
They do. And when you have a really good leader at linebacker, you can usually be decent against the run because you can that guy can set the front as well as most quarterbacks can. But that means the secondary has to sort of run on the fly. And when they're injured, which like the corners for Tampa Bay are, that's where there could be problems. Like Hopkins on the outside could give them problems, but that's if Levis can do it.
And
I just don't think there's enough pass rush to make Levis uncomfortable. I think Levis, they'll keep it to the game plan, keep it simple for the quarterback, let him get a couple bombs up there to Hopkins. I think it will be textbook football from the Titans coming up this weekend.
We can go to
the problem with the Titans is they want to run, and like there is this possibility that if Baker can't push anything, and Tennessee's just within or up by a field goal or a touchdown the whole time, that they just run Henry into a wall the whole game. Like I could see a scenario where Tennessee's down 3, and they just run Henry 25 times for 78 yards or something.
Yeah. Speaking of running, we don't want to run late, Gov. Do you have your second pick?
Is it me now? Next?
Wait, are we snaking?
I was about to say, aren't we going to snake? So it should be your.
We do. Yeah,
we're snaking.
Logan.
We can snake. Yeah.
Yep,
yeah.
snake. Logan, second pick.
So I was not ready, but that's okay because I can adjust.
Filibuster.
I didn't think you guys would take this one, but I still think this one is one of the best ones on the board. I do not think Jacksonville is even worse than the 49ers. I think they're very close to on par. So you're going to lay 3 points with Jacksonville. I'm going to take +3 on Jacksonville. The 49ers haven't looked good in weeks. The Cinderella, we talk about Cinderella stories with the Vikings and Dobbs. The Cinderella story might be coming off of Brock Purdy. And even if you don't think like he's a fluke, and I'm not trying to say he is, but we all know he's not like a franchise setting, difference maker. He's supposed to facilitate that offense. Right now, that offense is not facilitating. The Jags defense is probably their most underrated asset. They've been able to get to the passer and create some disruption. I don't even think we've seen Jacksonville's best offensive explosion game, but they keep getting healthier. Travis Etienne might be one of the best running backs in the league that nobody talks about. So I like a lot of what Jacksonville has to offer. I think it's a lot the same offensively as the 49ers have to offer. They're just lesser known names. Like Travis Etienne and Christian McCaffrey are not that different this year, actually, for what they do to their team. It's just, the legacy of Christian McCaffrey lives on as it should. But Travis Etienne and, Trevor Lawrence, they're doing some crazy things. I like them. I would like them coming out of the playoffs. I think they'll be a fun team. I think this would be a fun, good matchup, and I think people are sleeping on it.
I really like this Jags team, so I don't want to come off as rude, but they are not on par with this Niners team, in my opinion. That's all I want to say on the matter.
People have been saying that about the 49ers when they lose multiple times this season. Uh, I think they're a good team. I don't think they're a great team. I think it's I think we're gonna
The
see.
Niners are gonna if the Niners get healthier, they'll be fine. I'm not worried about them.
Yeah, Logan, I have to agree with Donnie here. I don't think the Jaguars have what it takes to keep up with this 49er team. I think they're eventually going to get out of their little slump. And I don't know if Kyle Shanahan's the type of coach that's going to rally them back into uh, rah-rah, kick their asses type of mentality. But Doug Peterson is a really good coach. And what we've seen from the Jaguars so far has shown that on paper. I mean, they've slipped up a couple of times this season. The Texans kicked their ass. Okay, this Texans team is young and hungry too. But they've beaten the Bills. They've beaten a very good Steeler defense. They kept up okay with the Chiefs. They didn't beat them, but they've almost steamrolled everybody they've encountered so far. But against a really good championship caliber team like the 49ers, I don't think they have what it takes.
Whenever
No. I
whenever
think they. I don't even want to say that. I think they can win this game. I do not think this is like, oh, no, this is the end of the road. Jacksonville can't do it. I just don't expect it. It's not where I'd put money into it at all.
I didn't mean to say end of the road. It's only week 10. I mean, they got a pretty nice schedule coming up too, but
No, but
um
I mean, to say that they can't go on a run late in the playoffs, I think they can be an AFC Championship team.
well, aren't they pretty much winning the AFC South anyway?
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to stop them there.
No.
that's my point. I'm not even saying that the 49ers are bad. I'm saying that people have been sleeping on the Jags, acting like, well, we expected more from the Jags. We expected Trevor Lawrence to be already a
They're just
superstar.
not sexy. The Jags are just playing well.
See, and I'm telling you,
They're just not a sexy team.
I think the Jags have more sex appeal than the 49ers. It's just people are used to, Kyle Shanahan and that offense being sexy and explosive. They haven't. I don't know. I thought that the Browns exposed them. I think they're still a good team, but I actually like Jacksonville's offense better than the 49ers here. Do you have any thoughts?
When they played the Browns, they lost Christian McCaffrey, didn't have Debo, didn't have Trent Williams. So that was not the Niners team, really. That was their three best offensive weapons, you could argue, gone. That's
It's
a
funny
big
how
deal.
it's funny how we pick and choose that narrative. I'll just say that.
This was a bad idea. You guys keep picking all the picks I want to pick. You're picking all my picks.
No. But I'm fine with that. You saying that, Logan. But you're not going to act like Trent Williams is not the most impactful offensive lineman in the game. Christian McCaffrey is the most impactful running back in the game. And Debo's kind of like
he's not. Kelsey is the most impactful offensive lineman in the game.
Kelsey.
Yes, Kelsey.
Okay, it's a close one.
In the end, football is always a next man up type of game. Even if you lose your best weapons, it's still got to be next man up.
That's my point. And if you're a good team, you have depth.
Well, yeah, but even if the depth isn't as good, at least
the Niners have depth
work.
at running back and receiver. They don't have depth at the offensive lineman spot. But
I'm saying you try to paint me in a corner like I think they're a bad team. I don't. All I'm saying is,
but to say they were exposed, that wasn't them.
They are exposed because if you have an injury, that's going to happen on every team. You have to overcome those injuries. The Chiefs have overcome those injuries. The Eagles have overcome those injuries. If you're a good team, you got to overcome those injuries.
What injuries have the Eagles really overcome?
Last year, they overcame a ton of injuries to become a Super Bowl championship team. Hurts was injured most of the season.
No.
Go ahead, go.
He missed a couple games, and they didn't play well.
Yeah. So let's see. Jags at -3. Yeah. So then it's yeah, Donnie, it's your pick, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's my pick. I'm just gonna make it simple. Baltimore -6.5. I think it's at. They the Ravens have beat the Browns 6 of the last 8 games, and I don't think that's a fluke. They struggle against Lamar. I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to do anything against that defense. Baltimore sneakily has probably the best defense in the league. I really like this Ravens team. And I know they were my Super Bowl pick coming into the year, but damn, they look like, in my opinion, the best team in the AFC so far.
Yeah, and this game is playing in Baltimore, and Cleveland is 1-2 on the road this year. I don't like their odds either.
That's next week. Uh, one thing I find weird about Baltimore is like they've looked really good on defense. To Donnie's point, I don't think we've seen the big fantasy explosion game out of Lamar Jackson yet this year. If we get that game, that could be fun. It's from a lineup construction standpoint. I think the Ravens could show us more. I don't mind that pick at all.
You're on the wrong one. It's Ravens Browns, but
Yeah, I got there. I just saw the orange and the purple and thought that was on the right game, but a little preview for next week. I guess they play the Bengals.
yeah. Man, I don't know if anybody else feels the same way about the Ravens. I really don't see anybody good enough to beat them right now in the AFC.
I don't either. They're a sneaky good team that hardly anyone's talking about right now, except us, kinda.
See, but that's the weird thing. I don't think
I
anyone
don't
has.
get it.
They're very slept on.
Their coaching's good. I guess you could argue we have never seen Lamar do it in the playoffs. The receiving core is lackluster, you could say, but that defense, I mean, it's amazing.
You know what's funny about saying that the receiving core is lackluster? If you look at the standings, the Baltimore Ravens have put up 239 points, Kansas City Chiefs 208. They're better than the Chiefs right now at scoring.
Listen, that's a Chiefs thing. We don't need to talk about the Chiefs offense because we could talk all day about how bad they really are if you want to get into that.
You remember how it's funny how we pick and choose narratives on injuries because the Baltimore Ravens have been very injured this year, but they've been winning, so people don't want to give them credit for their depth.
Baltimore's always done that. Always.
Yeah, which I'm saying they should get credit for a lot more than they do.
I think that's more so the coach than anything else.
Yeah.
Harbaugh's a very good coach, and I remember before they got Lamar when Flacco was still at the end, people were talking about firing him, and I don't get that kind of thing.
Yeah. Ravens are a top 5 offense, and they've allowed the least amount of points so far. This is a legit Super Bowl contender.
Yep. They really should be the Super Bowl favorite right now. I don't know who is. I guess that's something that's cool to sneak peek at another time.
Go ahead. I was going to give you the last word on the Jags game, and then people thought it was your turn to pick. What's your thoughts on this game or any game you have in mind here?
Oh, this game, I have no real thoughts on this game. I have a horrible bias, so I'll just stay out of it. That's basically it.
What kind of snacks are you looking forward to the game from an entertainment standpoint? Like, another thing you have to have a take. Like, you don't have to say.
I want the same outcome my dad wants.
Yeah.
Either Cleveland wins or Lamar doesn't walk off the field healthy. Only two possible, likely, happy outcomes for me. Lamar does not walk off the field healthy, or Cleveland wins, or both.
Hey, that's
a horrible thing to say. I didn't need to say that. So, I just have nothing to say about this game.
I've never understood Gus Lamar hate.
Hey, maybe that's a whole off-season discussion. Maybe we can have
we need to get to that one time. I swear, I've only met 2 other people who hate Lamar as much as you, and they were Patrick Mahomes.
And I knew who they are. Maybe we'll find a way to get them on the show too. Because
mine doesn't. Yeah, we'll have to talk another day because mine doesn't stem from I think Patrick Mahomes is better than Lamar. Mine stems from I think Colin Kaepernick was better than Lamar. I think there's a lot of quarterbacks better than Lamar. I think Lamar is an overrated, horrible quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he proves you wrong in the playoffs.
I hope he does exactly what he's always done. That's all I need. I just hope he is who he has always shown to be. And
You
I
wrote
will
him
walk
off,
away
he ain't
fine.
right back. He should be the MVP this year so far, in my opinion. But
He was the MVP the other year and then looked like he shouldn't even have been a quarterback on a team in the playoffs. He might be the MVP this year.
I was actually going to bring that up before we even got on this topic. Is like, so
It's funny how you can go from looking like Cam Newton to looking like Mark Sanchez.
We should probably move on before we go down too far this road.
Yeah, seriously. That's why I was like, I don't need to say anything. We don't need to talk about this anymore. We're good.
Yeah. It's my pick now. So I was gonna chase after that Giants Cowboys game, but now that it's minus 17, no, not when Mike McCarthy coaching this team. So instead, I'm gonna let the Buffalo Bills hurt me again and pick them over the Broncos at minus 7.5. Sean Payton leading this Broncos team is not good. The Buffalo Bills offense has been struggling. Their defense has had their injuries and struggles, but I don't think the Broncos are going to give them a game. I think it's going to be at least, it says 7.5. It's going to have to be more than just one score, but I think the Bills will have no problem beating them by at least 10.
I feel the same way. I think the Bills are going to get out of their funk this week and just have an offensive showing.
I picked the Bills the most on this show, and they love to hurt my feelings, so I definitely count on them doing it again.
And Evan, before the show started, like when we were having our technical issues, the line that I saw was Denver plus 7. It's now 7.5.
Well, by the time I got to pick him, it's 7.5, so we can't break the rules, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. But what I'm saying to you, though, like my question about this is pertains to like building lineups and just how you think of this team going forward. Is so they said they're not going to fire Sean Payton, right? Like he's got basically a free for all this year, like opposed to a lot of other coaches that have had this kind of trouble, whether that be Ron Rivera, McDaniels, like now Arthur Smith rumors are coming out that he's got to win. Without that desperation that you've got to win as Sean Payton, do you think that makes your team play better? Do you you're like, hey guys, stick to the plan, stick to the team, we're building a culture? Or do you think like they need that desperation? Do you think there's any hope?
No, I think there's no hope for this Broncos team to make the playoffs. I mean, sure, they're 3-5, but they're a horrible road team. Their offense is struggling. They're a horrible offense. And their defense is not anything impressive either. They've only got, what's his face at cornerback? I'm having a brain fart. But I don't see what's so good about this Bronco team against a championship caliber Bills team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not even saying they have to make the playoffs. I'm just saying, like, if you were on this team, do you think there's more of a chance, like, they rattle off, like, 5 straight, wins or, like, have some kind of momentum going into the season? Or do you think, like, it's better to have, like, that coach get fired, the team rallies against the interim coach? Like, because the Bills haven't been good either. So, like, part of me wants to take the plus 7.5. But it's like, because I like Sean Payton for what he does X's and O's wise. It's just like his decision making has never been the greatest either.
I'm not reading much into their win over the Kansas City Chiefs. This Chiefs team does not impress me at all this year. I think they're very overrated, and I'll get into that later. But I don't think they're any match for a Bills team where I don't think Sean McDermott is a good head coach either. I think he's just but I think the Bills are a better team than the Chiefs this year.
I guess that's my only last point. I'll move on to the other guys. I think actually the Buffalo Bills have more of a desperation to win this game than the Denver Broncos do. Like, because McDermott could be fired, I think, before Sean Payton. That's kind of what I was setting this up for. Gov, Don, you got anything on this game?
I mean, I think the Bills can destroy them.
Yeah. Let's move on. We're 40 minutes in. Let's get this last pick in and get going.
Your pick, Gov.
Okay. Bastards took a lot of the good fucking picks. I'll say that.
Donnie tried to
But
give
you
you time.
left me. I think you left me one. Let me make sure. So like Steelers, Saints, Titans. So Logan
just
has
pick the
Titans and
Patriots.
Jags.
You can go
We have
against us too.
Saints and Ravens. We have Steelers and Bills. You left me Houston plus 6.5 over Cincinnati.
But Gov, you can go directly
hate
against
that
us
one.
too.
Like I think that's the one. What's the line on DK? Because it could be a different line from my stuff.
6.5 was what I saw on DK earlier.
It's now 6.
I'll take 6.
What game is that? Just to be fair?
Houston plus 6 against Cincy, right?
Yep. Yep. 6 plus 6.
All right, I will take Houston plus 6. Like I think they've shown to be a pretty good team. They'll keep it close if nothing else. Cincinnati is missing Higgins. Chase might be active quotation marks if he even plays with the back injury. Like I don't know. I think Houston can definitely keep up. I don't think Cincinnati has the firepower to just blow them out.
Do you think that the Texans have a chance to win this game?
Maybe. If Chase is out, definitely. But like, I just think this game is competitive and not like a 7-point game.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to call you out on the maybe answer, but I think it depends on Chase, so that's a good point.
Yeah, if Chase is out, then it's a definitely. If Chase isn't out, I still think it's competitive and Cincinnati can win. But like, it shouldn't be a touchdown spread. This should be a 3-point game like the Charger game.
Let's just move on to lineup builders, I think.
Yeah, we can build a couple lineups, I think.
Yeah, in about 22 minutes.
Yeah, we should have plenty of time to do that. I'll transition the screens. We were going to basically use our pillar ideas and then build as many good ideas off of that as we could. So that way we don't focus on one specific lineup or building a certain number of lineups. If something comes to us and it makes sense. And this week, why don't you explain to the people what we were thinking about doing as I transition over to the right screen to do so? As I understand it, we were going to go with the cheap running back or the cheap wide receivers and more expensive wide receivers, correct? Or I said that wrong.
Cheap wide receivers, expensive running backs.
Right.
That's all it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot
Yeah,
of
I'd like to focus our build on that. Yeah.
Why is that? As I pull up the right lineup for this build, like why did we decide to do that?
Well, I don't like a lot of the cheaper running backs this week, and being that we're in an era of the NFL which wide receivers are more valuable than ever, I don't think we have to pay up at wide receiver. I think there's a lot of great options this week that we can get away with at below 6K for all these wide receivers.
There is, and Gov, you had an idea that correlated perfectly with it. So why don't you tell people kind of what that guideline was?
Well, like I think that there's some good high-end running back plays.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would like to hear what everyone's favorite 6K and above running back play is. And let's use that as like a core.
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna pay up running back, cheap wide receiver, let's build a core with good pay up running backs.
And that's what I saw too. And I'll let you get on this, Donnie, in just a second. But when we started doing our review shows and started talking about like why we started doing things and like what made sense, I'm just like these kind of roundabout discussions make more sense for building lineups. I think this is kind of where we should go. You said Kamara was the guy you wanted to target. Why Kamara?
Well, honestly, the best way I can put it is, when you find a good store brand item and you get like $1 discount on something and it's better better or just about the same as the name brand.
Mm-hmm.
That's Kamara to McCaffrey.
I agree with that.
Kamara has a great floor. Like he's definitely a really good pay up. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
that's a funny comparison.
I don't think I do the exact McCaffrey thing like that, although more so with what they're doing McCaffrey now. But yeah, they're very close.
Gov, I do like that comparison though, because if you think about it, like people want to give McCaffrey his flowers for his receiving, and obviously he's one of the best receiving, running backs. but people do that because they already know he's a good built or baked in running back, right? Like we expect that, the 5 yards per carry, those type of things. I think the opposite gets said about Kamara. He's actually has always gotten us flowers about receiving. I think people slept on his actual rushing abilities. And I just like that comparison. That's a good comparison. My favorite running back this week is Travis Etienne. Um, there's no reason to suggest that he hasn't been as good as any other running back this season, and he's still really cheap. Like we're still playing him like he's a second tier running back, and I don't think he is. Like I could tell you all the stats in the world, or you could just look at his salary over here and look at his fantasy points and tell me he's a bad player. Oh wait.
I don't think we have the time to wait because
Exactly.
Listen,
is.
Etienne and Hall were our favorite running backs last season. There's a reason for that.
And that's one thing is like historically, Donnie, you look at it, his price hasn't really changed. Like he actually is to me a top 5 running back this season, and he's still priced as a second tier guy. I don't get it. Evan, who's your favorite running back this week? Let's see if we can get all 3 of them in.
So I was thinking about Brees Hall, but I think that Jets offense is gonna have a hard time getting him going because the offense is so bad. So give me David Montgomery against the LA Chargers.
Different
What?
slate anyway. So
Yeah. But
Hall's not on the slate.
oh,
It's all good. We know.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, give me David Montgomery against the Chargers because now that he's back in the lineup, apparently, even with the ribs injury, he's. I know how your Dan Campbell, the dude, likes to run his running backs. He loves that 2-back split. He's gonna give Monty the work. I think they paid him fairly handsomely in the offseason, so they're gonna use him.
They did pay him.
They are going to use him
very handsomely.
Yeah, so he's on a 3-year, $18 million deal, which is fine for running backs. I think that's the same as Miles Sanders. Go figure. But, yeah, no, give me David Montgomery.
I don't think it's my favorite play, but I understand it. The one thing I find funny about this is everyone wants to ding that he's not involved in the receiving game this year. Look at all the numbers he's put up, and he's not involved in the receiving game. If he ever is, or even if he gets that on a smaller level, then he's even a better play. Like, so I've never thought that to be a ding of him. I'll let you guys open it up from there. I think we could easily play all 3.
I agree.
Yeah, I'd love to see if we can get all 3 and then see what happens.
I was saying, Gov, are you opposed to trying all 3 first?
Well, like I like all those running backs. I also like McCaffrey. The one I would throw in would be Tony Pollard against the Giants this week.
I do like
I
Tony
can get
Pollard.
off Kamara for Pollard, honestly, and that makes sense for me.
Like if we did that, I wouldn't mind trying to jam in all 3.
How many carries is Pollard gonna get though?
He hasn't got under, I think, 17 all season.
No, he's been under 17 for half the season.
Oh yeah,
I don't think he's gotten 17. Well, no, if you add in targets like 17,
sorry, I'm counting target.
13, 22, 13, 15.
I
like there are chances when like in the games where they don't need to run, but like this is a game against the Giants. They should be up. They should just milk the clock and Pollard should just crush.
Right. And I
What
played
did you do last time against the Giants? Let's just look at that.
What was that, week 1?
Let's
Week
see.
1.
Week 1. 22 points was his best game of the season.
Yeah,
Well,
I never like to bank on week 1 data just for anybody.
Well, it's against the same team. That's the difference. That's the only reason why.
Fair point.
This is a divisional game. These teams play each other all the time. But, like, we know the Giants aren't good. We know Dallas can kill them. Like, if you guys want to try to just jam in Kamara, ETN, and that's
we'll
fine.
see. How about Pollard's the backup plan if Kamara hits too much?
That's fair.
If we need that 900, we can make that flip.
Okay, sounds good.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I'm just scared to play Pollard because I do not trust this Cowboy team anymore.
Well, I would say like the matchup makes sense. They're playing such a bad quarterback on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So like you talked about narratives of week one, but they're playing a worse Giants team than they did in week one. They got to get Tony Pollard involved, I think, to make a good playoff run.
Well,
Anything
knowing
else
Mike
you want to do with this
McCarthy.
lineup as I finish it up? Now that we got the core kind of set up?
Yeah, go for it. Okay.
Can I recommend we just play probably we get two quarterbacks in this lineup and we play Taysom Hill at quarterback?
No.
You mean at tight end?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think he's a cheat code this week, especially if you have Kamara.
I think
He
we're going
is-
to need value, and I don't want to pay $5K at tight end.
Fair
Well,
enough.
let's see what we're at tight end. Let's go receivers, see what we like at cheap receiver spots.
Yeah, let's start there.
I got
How do
a
we feel
good
about
bring
Quentin
back.
Johnston this week?
No.
In
What about-
Jigba,
No, not in Jigba yet.
What about Brandon Powell? About the cheapest bring back.
I do like Powell. I have him in one.
I don't want to play Powell
Why?
because he's like the third wide receiver.
Hawkinson might be out. We
like
have
Hawkinson is questionable. It's
He-
Addison and then Powell.
He's
Oh,
minimum. He's a bring back. He makes sense to me.
he makes a lot of sense.
Oh, I didn't know Osborne had a concussion. He
Yeah,
makes sense,
Osborne's
but
out.
Osborne's out.
yeah, well, yeah. Okay, so yeah, he makes sense, but he doesn't produce enough.
He doesn't got to produce that much at 3K.
Well, I'm just see at this point. I'm now looking at cheap. I'm like,
Yeah,
and
I don't-
you've already nixed Jamison Williams, right?
Yeah, no, I don't want to play JMO at all.
Okay, I don't know if there's a cheap wide receiver. Like now at this point, I'm looking 4,500 and higher, and that's not really a cheap wide receiver in my book.
Evan, here's the thing I'll give you. If you can come up with a name before this podcast is over, that's a better value and makes more sense than Brandon Powell, I'll put him in. But for now, Brandon Powell goes in.
Okay, yeah, because I wanted to look
In-
at the prices
in
we
Noah
have so far
Brown?
here. Okay,
Noah Brown, I
so-
don't want to play. He already had the 75-yard touchdown. What are the chances of
But I'm
having
saying, like, even correlation, like, we got Kamara in the lineup. It makes
And Johnston
sense.
makes a lot of sense here too, but you don't like.
I would play
that's-
Jalen Guyton if we wanted another cheap guy from the Lions game.
I would
Because-
not.
I don't
Well-
want to even try on Guyton. Like he,
No,
eh.
I don't like Guyton.
I'm just saying, if you need cheap guys, we got Palmer on the IR. He did see 4 targets Monday night against the.
It said last.
Yeah,
game
I
too,
saw
though.
those 4 targets. I don't trust him to do anything really.
2 of the targets down here were out of bounds, so they didn't really count. But he was
Oh.
definitely targeting Guyton.
I'm not even counting those as part of his targets. Like though, I'm not so sure he was targeting Guyton. I'm
not saying he's a good player.
pretty sure he was chucking that out of bounds so that no one could catch it.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a good player. I'm just saying these are the 3K options. Like the idea of the
Well,
pillar bill.
Isn't Johnson only 41? I mean, to be
the
number
real
2
3K
receiver-
options is like Trenton Irwin and that from Cincinnati with no Higgins.
Irwin is a good one actually
Well,
to pull up.
I do have another Irwin. Because we can look at Irwin, but I did have another one right now since I was.
If
about to
there's
pull it
no
up.
Chase, I do like Irwin.
I'll
'Cause
be honest, I didn't expect us to play 3 expensive running backs. I only expected us to play 2, which is killing me because I was looking at 5K and up wide receivers that we could play at value. But if we have to go this cheap, I don't know if it's going to work.
See, some of these cheap guys are still viable. So like I'm not opposed to doing it this way. But like we probably like I think Irwin is probably the guy because he'll be the chalk guy. Like with no Higgins, he's already seen the second most routes.
Who is this?
This is another option for us as well. Since you guys brought up Irwin, Kyle Phillips has seen a lot of work since Will Levis got in. Apparently, him and Will Levis have chemistry, and now they're without Traylon Burks.
No.
I'm
Who
not
the
bold
hell
enough
is
on
this
playing.
guy?
He's the slot receiver.
He's a slot
third,
receiver.
He's the third string wide receiver on Tennessee. Like I'm not talking about playing the third string wide receiver. I'm talking about playing who is the guy who is now the number 2 on the other side of Chase.
Yes.
And could be the number because Boyd is the slot
Well,
receiver.
number 2 on
for
the side of
Cincinnati.
Chase
No, to be
Wouldn't
fair,
that be Boyd?
Philip has pressed Westbrook Akina.
I haven't seen that. No. Snap count? No.
I
Routes
watched
run?
it
No.
tonight. He definitely has.
I can look that up right now. I'm about
Go
to and
ahead.
just post it up there. He is not running more routes. He is not seeing more snaps. Like, that is just not a thing, actually.
Go ahead. If I'm wrong, I'll throw it right here live on the podcast. I'm telling you, Phillips has seen more work.
Phillips has barely seen enough work to justify putting him in.
3 targets his first game starting, and 5 targets his second game.
That's pretty low because they went nowhere. I mean, he still got 68 yards against the Steelers, but I mean, I don't think he's going to do it again.
So 18 and 22 snaps compared to 34 and 43 for Westbrook. Also compared to 28 and 31 for Chris Moore. So he's not even out snapping Chris Moore.
Fair enough. You
All
gotta,
right.
see, that's why I love what you, because you bring the analytics, and that's not my department. Go. I'll eat the crow, but it was an option. Like, that's the kind of range we're talking about here, though. Donnie didn't even know who he was. He's not a bad play, though. I'll tell you that.
I'm not saying that he's. Listen. You bashed on me when I first started to play for recommending slot guys, though. I will say that.
Well, no, I'm not saying he's a good play. Like, this is the kind of range we're at, because we got Mike Wilson as well.
If there's no chase, Irwin makes a lot of sense, though. Boyd's very cheap, and I like him actually this week. Boyd's
would still
always
rather-
cheap.
Yeah, I'd still rather play Boyd than Irwin. Irwin is too much of a galaxy brain long shot.
It's
See,
not, though,
I could
because
play
he has.
Boyd.
Yeah,
See, I would be
I'd
fine
rather-
with Boyd, but
Yeah, he'd be safer.
Take Irwin out.
Okay, so but shouldn't we consider, and Boyd might be a good play, but shouldn't we consider Smith as well at tight end? He's under 3K. If we need to save salary,
Well, let's
No.
not look at tight end yet.
yeah.
I'm just looking at salary savers. Like, if we can name a running back, we can name a quarterback. I'm just trying to think
Boyd
of how.
always gets targets, though.
Yeah,
That's
he
the
does.
thing.
Yeah, Boyd
he
will be
catches them.
consistently in there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to go in.
I don't mind Boyd here.
Yeah, Boyd's fine.
I always like Boyd if there's any injury on the.
Okay, I
game,
think Boyd's an easy
honestly.
one. One guy we got to get in though is Tank Dell. I feel like.
Yes, we do. Tank
I don't
Sellers
So-
say
is a
we
must.
have to. I'm expecting now. Gov would know better than me. I don't know this stuff. This is just my assumptions. Is his ownership not about to skyrocket?
I don't care if it's 90%.
I mean, it's pretty high, but like it
He saw 11
probably should
targets.
be.
Yeah, I don't see
Why is he so cheap, man?
because they messed up.
Yeah, they did.
No, but they do this all the time with Tank Dell. Look at him, the whole season.
I know they messed up, dude. That's what I'm saying. Is like
You got to understand, like the algorithm isn't based entirely off of how well you did. If no one played him, his price isn't going to move.
Mhm.
He wasn't low owned last week. I didn't think.
I'm not locking.
No
him in.
one was playing Stroud stacks actually. Like I remember talking about it, but like even I didn't get to a Stroud stack. I
No
just
one
played
played it.
one-offs of like Noah Brown and stuff.
No one played it. See, that's the thing is, Donnie, I would agree with you to fade it. Like if his ownership was really high and he was a bit more expensive and we didn't have Boyd, but I feel like we had the skinny stack here. So if we weren't playing a Cincy guy, then maybe you wouldn't play Tank, but we're not even playing him as a one-off. That's why I think it makes so much sense.
The way we're looking,
Mm-hmm.
would it make sense to throw Carr in here, or no? Because I don't want to play Burrow, and I think Stroud's too expensive
Well,
for
How
us.
about we do this? How about we just throw in a defense that we can agree, at least a defensive range that we can agree on, so we can see what we got left.
I'm honestly fine with the paydown defense this week.
I think the Browns at 3K might be good, but
I really like Arizona's defense as well.
okay, that's just fair. Let's just lock them in so we have an idea. So 5,500, almost 6,000 left for a quarterback and a tight end.
Okay. I would want Jake Fergie at tight end.
Jake Fergie, that would mean we probably just go. No, we can't go Dak because if we're expecting to blow out. That's what I mean. We're in a tough, weird spot right now.
Yeah.
I don't think we really are.
I think with what we have, we probably just go Stroud.
No, I wouldn't. I don't want to go Lawrence.
I just showing the option. I think Trevor Lawrence makes some sense. I think your Derek Carr would make.
You know what we could do if we really wanted to get crazy.
Brock
We
Purdy
could
make,
go and just pay up for Lamar and get that rush upside.
So we'd have to take out a running back then. So we take out David Montgomery.
No, we wouldn't.
Well, so then we'd have to pay $3,900 for tight
That's
end right
doable.
now.
That's
David
very
Njoku?
doable.
So we're
What's
looking at
David?
Gerald Everett and below.
Oh, he's 4,000. So we did. Because I was looking for a bring back with Lamar. I don't like that.
So we're looking at guys like Jonu Smith, Trey McBride, Kate Otten,
He's not going to let us play him.
Juwan Johnson.
Well,
We could do Herbert and Everett too.
I don't like Everett though.
okay. What about Herbert and Sam Laporta? Could we do that?
Laporta's probably gonna be
I'd
expensive.
just go Goff. No, I wouldn't because we have Montgomery and we're saying touchdowns won't happen.
Well, I know Joe's the most expensive, but Gov, do you think this lineup's different enough that we could go Joe Burrow?
I mean, probably.
And then
Like,
bring
it
him back with
definitely is because no one's playing Powell.
Right, that's what I mean. That's the advantage of playing a guy like Powell. Then you could just play, then we can go like a Dalton
Then you
Schultz,
could
for
just play
example.
Ferg like we had.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking Dalton Schultz fits perfectly.
I don't want to double stack.
Don't want to double stack.
If we're
yeah.
doing Schultz, then you're playing Stroud.
Yeah.
Let's go Ferg and go up somewhere else, man.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
what else would you do? We go with Ferguson?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
So you
We
want to get
could
off?
technically afford Taysom.
I don't want to play Taysom Hill.
I think he's a good
Okay.
play.
I don't
Taysom
like to
Hill's-
either. I never do that too.
Taysom Hill is way too expensive for his average fantasy points that he puts up.
You know what it is, right? He's
I
been
feel
putting
the
up
same way. If he
You know,
scores,
Taysom's been averaging 20. See who gets more than Taysom Hill this week? Let's play this game.
Taysom does not average 20. That's so ridiculous to say.
Yes, he does.
See,
No, he
now,
doesn't.
I keep
He
looking at
averages
this
10.
lineup. I keep looking at this lineup and have a bias of what I want to do with it.
I'm saying he's averaged 20 since he has his new role. That's what I said.
Yeah, but
This
but
role, but Jawan has been out for some of those games. Like, I don't know if this is exactly how this is going to go. I don't want to chase him having 2 20-point games.
yeah, me either. Because he faced the Colts and Bears defenses. Those are cake matchups for him.
I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm saying since they're saying it's a new role, since the new role, he's averaged 20. That's all I was saying. I'm not even
If
saying
they
Juwan
have a
Johnson
bye
back.
week, I would play him after a bye week, I think, and that's it.
I like Ferguson. I've been on Ferguson all year. I have no problem with Ferguson.
Yeah.
I like playing Ferguson here. I just want to use that 500 somewhere else.
See, and I don't know where to use it because the only
On
thing I would
defense.
do I honestly wouldn't even put on defense because there's nothing 3K or down that I want to play
See, I
more
play
than
the
like Arizona. I could play Arizona against Baltimore, but like truthfully, I look at this lineup and what I want to do is change Joe Burrow to CJ Stroud and then change Brandon Powell to Noah Brown and just go tank Brown Stroud again with Boyd on the other side.
I'm not mad at that.
I
That's
like that.
fine by me.
I like that
I just wanted a
because
solution.
I like that
That
because
would
I think
spend the 500 on Powell, and then you're only leaving 100 because I believe Stroud is 100 less than
100 more. Than
100
Burrow.
more. Okay, so you might not have enough, actually. I thought he was 100 less. I was looking at that wrong. Yeah, you don't have quite enough to get from Powell to Noah Brown.
We could do this still, though. I don't think this is crazy.
I'd be fine with this.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it too.
I
I'd
like
be
it
fine with
because-
this or Burrow, honestly. But like this spends a little more money.
Hold on a second, though. We're still
Like-
playing the Cardinals defense, and we could probably do a little better with the remaining 400.
I
Like-
don't think we can, honestly.
Like, there's
Hold on,
really
though.
not much better in that.
I
range.
really
they
like this
priced up
Cardinals
all the
defense here.
defenses.
Gov,
Do we want to take a shot on either the Bengals or
Oh,
Texans?
yeah. Gov, look at that, though.
do we go back to Dalton Schultz? My idea if we played CJ.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that makes
Like,
sense.
I don't hate that. If we're doing CJ, then we get his double. We get the bring back.
Because then it makes more sense if we go against Brown because we're leveraging Brown because a lot of people that will have this lineup would make that Brown switch, right? We're saying no, Brown's gonna fail. He wasn't that good with the Cowboys. He just had one big flashy week. We're gonna go with a more consistent Dalton Schultz. You know,
The other
And-
Cowboy.
Right, I was about to say, yeah.
I mean, we still need Powell to go off because Powell is the difference maker in this game.
Yeah, no, he's the 1% guy. If he does well, then the lineup has a shot.
because like if we think about
And I don't really like Powell this week at all. So, like, I don't know.
I don't even.
Well,
He was the one person I was trying to get off. More so even than the Cardinals defense. It was Powell who I was trying to upgrade to someone. But, like, there's upgrades in my mind to that, like, we've had vetoed. Like, I would just play Jameson Williams.
do you guys like this guy better?
No, do not play
No.
Rondale. Rondale sucks.
No.
Please stop playing Rondale.
Yeah, stop trying to convince us, please.
Yeah. Stop trying to make fetch happen.
God.
I'm just saying they're very similar players.
If Hollywood was hurt, then I would do it.
Well,
I think we just have the lineup as it is, honestly.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree.
let's do it.
Well, that's the idea. The concept of this was more to have these long discussions of like what you could do, what you should do, those type of things. So, like, I think that I like the way we built this lineup, opposed to being like, okay, you have to have a pillar, I have to have a pillar, and then we have so many lineups. I thought we had a really good structure there. Did you guys want to build any other lineups, or you want to get out of here? I know Gov only has a bit more time.
We can build another lineup if we want.
You
Yeah,
sure?
let's do one more.
Like, yeah, we can build one more.
What's another pillar idea that we want to do?
Honestly, I kind of just want to do a regular draft and see where we go.
All right.
All right.
Let's keep it vanilla.
All right, we'll snake draft. Same rules as always. No picking the quarterback in the first picks. We want to start with the same order.
How about we did this and make it a little bit different, though? We can do the regular draft like Dottie said, but how about we have to agree on a quarterback together? Like we have
Like first, or
it could be
Oh,
first.
that would be fun. Yeah, let's do first. First,
Oh,
we all
boy.
agree on quarterback.
We have to agree, though. It has
Okay.
to be
All right. Who's the
consensus.
must play?
I'm gonna throw out Brock Purdy and see what happens.
I don't want to play Brock.
So how about I go cheap? The cheapest quarterbacks I've played to the most expensive, and I'll see if I can snag any of you guys. I like Kyler Murray.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
I like Tyler Heineke.
No.
No, I like Levis this week.
Okay,
Maybe.
I'm a
Levis
fan
is
of
probably
Levis.
the cheapest I'm willing to go.
Okay, let's put in Levis for now, and if we can.
No. Let's all decide first. Let's decide.
I'm thinking about
Sam Howell?
I like Sam Howell.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a Sam Howell hater.
That's okay.
I don't like Sam this week.
All right.
Trevor Lawrence,
No.
I don't want to play Lawrence.
Not against San Fran.
Kyler Murray.
No.
You already
No,
said
you
Kyler.
said that.
Oh, I'm literally going through my player pool. Sorry, I had it. Jared Goff is on my player pool.
I love Goff this week.
I would do Goff.
Yeah, we could do Goff as one.
So Jared
Do
Goff.
we want to call it?
Let's
just
do
go.
Goff.
Anyone else have any other ideas?
Nope.
Nope.
So Jared Goff is a high end. If we need to, we could maybe go to Will Levis if we like something else. Okay.
All right. It
No,
would
we're gonna build the
be-
lineup around Goff. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It would
Yeah,
be
let's do that.
Gov's pick. It's gonna be Gov, Evan, me, Logan.
And then snake it?
Yep.
All right. Go for it, Gov.
Mixon.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Good one.
Mixon's a good play, but the ownership is crazy, so people are going to be
Yeah,
scared.
he is definitely one of the highest owned guys. But like,
But-
I want to get some Mixon. I want to get.
It doesn't matter because you guys got me, and I'll get crazy with the lineup. So trust me, we'll be fine.
All right, Evan.
Ooh, do I want to go running back or do I want to go wide receiver? Well, I think I'm going to stick with wide receiver because I love that Houston-Cincy matchup. What do I want to pick? Tank or do I want to...
Basically, that whole game is underpriced, one way or the other.
It's over. It might be slightly over owned, but it's also a really solid game, honestly.
Gov, do you know how chalky Noah Brown is right now?
Not very, actually.
Not
like,
very.
He's about
given
10%,
Mhm.
but that's chalky. People are playing him, but he's not like a high owned play.
Give me Noah Brown.
I like it.
Gotta stick him in somewhere.
Why do they keep trying to give me this goddamn Browning quarterback?
Jake Browning?
Yeah, it's funny though
All right.
when you do it my
Well-
way and you search.
I'm gonna make Logan even more mad, even though he's right in front of his screen, and I'm just gonna pick the better Brown. Give me the Sun God, Amon-Ra.
Oh,
My favorite player
I
in
like
the
him on
league.
St.
St.
Brown.
Brown.
Brown is my favorite.
No, I
Brown
bet
is
you
my
had to
favorite
type
player.
Brown back in again, Logan.
Oh no, it's easy. I got that one loaded. All you gotta do is type in Saint. It comes up right away. No, St. Brown's honestly the best price and upside play I think on the whole entire slate.
That's another player they do it to. Why does DraftKings not like Amon-Ra?
Yeah,
God
I
damn it!
I don't. They tend to underprice slot guys unless they really blow up.
I think Amon-Ra's pretty fairly priced for his talent.
I
below
want an
CeeDee
Amon-Ra
Lamb.
jersey.
Huh?
I want
Oh.
an Amon-Ra jersey.
Who's next?
It's you.
Okay. You guys are gonna hate me, but it's time.
Please don't pick Rondale.
Nope, we're putting in Jameson.
Okay.
JMO.
That's I actually do have this in the lineup.
I
as well.
like Jameson Williams this week because if there's ever a sign that you better shape up or be put out, it's like when you guys have a job, right? If someone comes in and they get hired to do the same job as you, and there's all this talk about the guy being as good as you, if not better, and like he's ready to go, Peoples Jones might not play this week because he's still learning the playbook. But I'm going to tell you what, your general manager hires a guy to take over your role after you've disappointed. There's no better motivator. If it doesn't happen this week, it probably won't happen. And if we're already
Logan,
going
you're
to
picking again after this.
say what?
It's
You're
snaking,
picking
so pick again. Your last contribution to the line.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys decide. Do you want me to go really cheap here, or do you want me
Nope,
to pay?
you're picking. Just pick something.
Just do it.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing
Just
that game.
do
Pick
it.
it.
All right. Do I want it? No.
He's keeping us on our toes. Oh no.
Guyton. I
Oh,
got to bring
no.
that. I offered.
Aw.
I offered.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't Rondale, so I guess that's something.
All right, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want your explanation. What? Give me Bijan.
Oh Jesus! And you did the one thing I. Okay, well,
Hold on. You wanted to play Palmer in week 1.
Guyton is not okay. Palmer was in okay. And Palmer in week 1 was a legitimate third wide receiver for the team. He had clearly beaten out Johnston, the rookie, in a high passing offense.
I'm just
And
saying.
then throughout the year, he's gotten more and more work. Guyton is a dude who, even when he had shots years ago, didn't prove much.
Palmer's on the
I'm just
IR there,
not
pal.
big on Guyton. I think that is the biggest. Like, that is more of a dart throw than you playing Will Levis last week first time.
I'm telling you, Palmer's on the IR, pal.
Yeah,
No,
but
I
that
know
doesn't mean-
Palmer's on the IR. It doesn't mean Guyton is a good play.
Exactly.
Just pay 400 more for Johnston.
I
God,
asked you.
or the 1,000 more. Sorry.
We might. I'm like, I can. Make
I mean,
this
we're
I
gonna
don't know.
have to because now that he's put in Bijan, we legit cannot spend the money.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting to
We're
see.
gonna
what
have
you wanted to
thousands
do.
left over now.
Why do you think
The
I
only
asked?
chance we had to spend the money was to go CMC.
Was to go
Good.
CMC?
Don't care.
Like, so now it's Evan. You got tight end or defense?
Yes, I will take tight end. Give me a Laporta potty.
Oh gosh, that's a heavy stack on the Lions.
Yeah.
That's really heavy. I don't like it. But
You think it's too top heavy?
I
think
think I
it's too
don't want
Lions heavy.
three. I don't. We don't need a triple stack golf.
now we leave 7K for the defense.
That's what I mean. Like, even if you did that, you're gonna leave 3,000 on the table, which means we're gonna just take
I think-
3,000 and play 6K wide receiver over Guyton.
Yeah, my gut and play was to play Christian McCaffrey, but you guys didn't take the bait.
Yeah, screw you.
I just wanted you to, like, if you were gonna pick value, I wanted you to either pick the tight end or the defense. I
I'll
didn't want
change
you to,
it.
like,
I'll
we
take
already have all of the value wide receivers. We just legit can't spend the money. Like,
Yeah,
Do you
I'll
want
change
to?
it.
Are we keeping
this
Laporta
is
for
like
one, or
this
do you
is
wanna
like
pay
the
up for
bad version of,
Okay.
of like the lineup we tried to build.
Yeah, we
Like, pay up running backs and cheap wide receivers, and we played all of the cheap wide receivers.
I'm
and
with you.
then-
I was playing Guyton so we could get some
So I
real
could
guys
gag.
here.
See, like, we had already picked Noah Brown and Jameson Williams. The one thing we did not need was a value wide receiver.
Hey, I was setting up the Christian McCaffrey. You guys didn't take the bait. I get it. I'll make the change. But what
You
defense
didn't even
are we-
need to do that. You could have just played a normal 5K wide receiver. We still could have played McCaffrey. Like,
Okay,
I'm
I
looking
mean-
at it now. Even if you turned Bijan into McCaffrey, we still might have left 1,000 on the table playing
It was-
Andrews in the Cowboys defense.
Okay, fair enough. Because you got me. It was my chance to mention. I think Jalen Guyton is a cheap option if you guys need it. There, I'll make that change. But what defense are we playing so we can finish this lineup? And can we please get off Sam Laporta? Or
So it would be Gov's pick for the defense, and then we can come back to the others.
Yeah, just go with whichever defense you want.
Steelers.
yeah, we're
Sounds
too
good.
high.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that too. But we need to change this line stack.
I
somehow.
like paying up for defense, so that's fine.
Okay, so we want to get off Laporta, Guyton, anybody else?
Nope.
Those two.
Okay.
We have
Especially-
all the money in the world to do it. So, like,
Just throw in. I guess we
I
can
do
just throw in
kind of
Andrews,
want.
man.
I do kind of want the stack. Like, do we have what'd you just put in? Hold on, Ferg.
Ferguson. I knew that was the guy we both liked, so I figured that would be a good place to start. Can we
I
get
was
Tony
gonna say
Pollard?
like I was gonna say, like, can we just do Keenan and then see what tight end fits?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sounds good to me.
That makes sense.
Are you opposing it, Alan? Tommy? No.
No, I like it.
I
like
like
Keenan.
I like Alan. Here's the thing I like about that gov is I think it's so expensive that people are going to be like they're going to say, well, Keenan's 8,800. Let me just get Eckler, right? Because he's only 200 more.
Hey, man.
And
Yeah, he's
Otten
400
makes
less,
sense
yeah.
here.
who makes sense,
see.
Johnny?
Otten makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, do we like Cade Otten? Because he's
I would have
looking
liked
better and better with Baker.
I would have liked to have gotten to McBride, but oh,
I like McBride. I think we should get off the Steelers defense and go to McBride.
we could go to the Falcons defense for 100 less and get the McBride.
No,
but no, I don't
no.
want to do McBride in the Falcons. So we'd have, yeah, like I could go down at defense to get to McBride. Otherwise, I'm looking at tight end. I'm like,
Listen,
Yeah.
listen.
Chig is
We
not
could
bad.
always do
Juwan's
Irv
not
Smith.
bad.
We could do Irv Smith and pay up somewhere else.
I'd rather not.
I don't want to do
Irv Smith.
Irv and Mc. Well, maybe we could do
Irv
Irv.
does give us a bring back in that game, though.
Burrow does not like targeting tight ends much.
To
But
that
it's
point,
not
they-
a-
You say that, and he targeted basically all three of his tight ends all last week.
Gov will like this because
Like
I
Drew
don't.
Sample, Tanner Hudson, and Irv Smith all had red zone touches.
I was
Well,
just going to
that's
say,
my
I don't-
point, though.
I don't usually use numbers though, so let me take my one chance to do so. They have an 11% tight end usage the whole season up until last week. They targeted tight ends at a 33% clip. So it's really what
And
you
there's
believe.
less receivers this week.
That's what I'm saying. It's what you believe. Do you believe more what Evan's saying? The thing is, I think we're too heavy on the Cincinnati game since we already have Mixon. So I
Yeah,
would.
see, that's the thing. With Mixon and Brown, we already have our mini. I don't want to add Irv to
I
it.
honestly think it is McBride and we get down from the defense. But if you guys like the Steelers, I would say K. Dotton.
I'm fine
I
with
would
K.
just
Dotton.
go
He's getting
Otten.
more work.
Yeah.
I could
Oh,
be.
Chig
I could
is
be
there too.
like Chig would be
I
the other
don't
one, but I could be
mind
swayed on
Chig.
Otten.
I can go Chig.
I
Chig
like
is running the second most
Listen,
routes for Tennessee.
he's bound for a
behind
touchdown.
Hopkins.
I think
Here's
he's
why I
bound for a
like.
touchdown.
He's
Here's why I
running
like-
the routes. He's out there in the passing game. He is talented. It's just will Levis be able to hit him?
Yeah,
And Burks is out.
Will Levis. Will.
So
Sorry.
I'm groaning because I don't trust
Evan-
Chig to get enough work with the routes he runs.
forget these guys. I'll mute them if I need to. We took out Sam Laporta. We poo-pooed your pick. So I'm going to let you pick this, whether you went K. Dotton or Chig.
Yeah, I like K. Dotton's chances better than Chig, just because Chig doesn't just doesn't get enough work for the amount of
Fair
routes
enough.
he runs.
Fair enough. I think they're both like basically the same play, just different ways to get there.
I
I think
agree.
Chig has higher upside. Kate has more of a chance for a touchdown.
Well, I don't care about the touchdowns. I care about the targets.
Touchdowns are 7 points. So I care about them a
Well,
decent amount.
Well, they're just too fluid to count on, and plus, K. Dotton is almost in there 100% of the time. He actually was in there 100% 2 games. So
I have to make one more point though, just because it would correlate, and we can. If you guys tell me no, if we did pay down from the Steelers defense and got up to McBride, he's getting more targets, playing with a better quarterback this week, and it correlates with our lineup because it would be a bring back to Robinson.
What is the defense at 3,700 range?
Falcons 37, Niners
No.
36, Bucks 35, Packers
I don't like
34,
any of it.
Titans 33, Vikings 32, Lions
hate it
31.
all.
Yeah.
yeah, no, pass.
Yeah, I hate it all. It's either cheap defense or.
I'm
or
fine with
expensive
just Otten.
defense.
I think Otten's just the thing we do.
Yeah, I'm going Otten playing Steelers defense.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If
I
I
think we
had to
should-
play a defense in that range, it would be the 49ers defense. So.
I think we should just
Yeah,
settle
I
with
agree.
this.
Yeah. I did like what we did though and turned it into more of a process kind of discussion show. So if you guys like that, leave it in the comments, give us some feedback. We're always constantly making adjustments. I think that's the idea of this process. You know, lineup build is every week is going to be different. Every line is going to be different. We might enter similar contests. These guys have similar ideas, similar likes, dislikes. But what we're trying to do is give you an idea of how to build a smart lineup every week. I'm not saying this lineup's going to hit. Maybe we score a record low amount of points this week, but I think it made sense. Anything else before we get out of here, Gus?
I'm just realizing we just made a 3v3 off of one of my lineups.
Awesome. So we did a good job popping
Hey,
it in
look.
your head.
Yeah,
Maybe. I don't know. It depends. Do you guys like Najee, Irv Smith, and Tank Dell more than Noah Brown, K. Dotton, and Bijan?
No.
No, I like Bijan this week. Arthur Smith was basically put on notice, hint, hint, kind of wink, wink, nod, nod kind of way with the general manager, apparently.
And then right after that, there was a report that said Bijan's usage is going to go up in the red zone.
like
He's gonna
right
be on the
after
field
it.
more.
It was funny because you posted that, Donnie, right as I was finishing up reading about Arthur Blank and the Falcons kind of pass down of that information. You know, Gov, you said you had a hard out tonight. I thought for sure we were going to hit it. I knew we were going to hit on, and then we had the technical issues, and I'm like, I don't know if we can get out of here. But we did. We were able to sew this show up pretty well. I'm pretty impressed with our pace. If you guys don't have anything else, I think we should close up shop so Gov can get out of here.
That's it.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Peace out, everyone.
You're not going to say go Bears? The one time I wait for it.
The faith is dead.
No, they already played. They already won.
Okay, so
God
you makes
damn it,
you
son
makes
of
you
a
win the
bitch.
whole
You're
other
gonna
week.
I didn't even get to go. You son of a.
Bryce Young is. Never mind. Let me stop.
Good
At
night.
least
guys.
he's healthy. Night.
And